The second practice session for the Cape Town E-Prix was topped by Envision Racing's Nick Cassidy. While the drivers are still getting to grips with the new circuit on the calendar, the Kiwi topped the timesheet with a 1 minute, 8.118 seconds. Edoardo, Martara and Ticktum were second and third respectively. Championship leader Pascal Wehlein was ninth quickest in the session, while South Africa's Kelvin from Linde failed to make it into the top 10 ahead of the qualifying session later this morning. Now, traffic around the Green Point and Sea Point areas has forced commuters to find alternative routes, and that's because the Cape Town E-Prix is in town. It got underway this morning in parts of Helen Suzman Beach Road and Fritz Sonnenberg. Both practice sessions have ended on the circuit. Vaylen Kirtley is there. We'll go to her now live. Vaylen, a very good morning to you. Prep ready for the race today. How's things looking?
Thank you very much, Putle. Yes, lots of excitement. And while some residents may feel that it's a little bit difficult to get around and commute in their area here around Sea Point and Green Point, they won't be worried about the sound, because these electric vehicles, you do hear something. It's a nice, beautiful hum, and the hard compound tires actually on the circuit. But it's certainly not the screeching of Formula One, which is part of the reason why Formula E can go to densely populated cities around the world. As you rightly said, free practice has concluded. There was one yesterday, there was one today. Really good opportunity for the cars to get out. Edoardo of Maserati MSG, who was second in free practice today. He was fastest yesterday, so certainly not taking it slowly today. He went faster than yesterday, but of course it was Nick Cassidy from Envision Racing that set the fastest times. There's some unique things if you have to compare the top tier of a combustion engine motorsport, which is Formula One, which is something that's been around since the 50s. So with many motorsporting fans, many people know about Formula One, and they often do the comparison with the top tier of single-seater open-wheel electric racing, which is Formula E. Well, there's a couple of key differences, most of which we'll actually see today. Behind me you can see the attack mode. That's something you'd only find in Formula E, and that's a special part of the race where drivers can actually get an extra 50 kilowatts of power, and they'll be able to use that for 30 seconds during the race. It's used strategically twice. And the other thing that is really particular is how they do the qualifying. So you have two groups. The drivers are seeded according to their World Championship standings. And then what happens is they set their times. They then go into a quarterfinal duel. So you've got drivers going head to head, and that's how the grid is sorted. Then 4 p.m. today, we're actually going to have the race. So these are a couple of things that are quite unique to Formula E, and it's really exciting when it comes to this race. Cape Townians very excited. I saw some people that were like peering through the fence as practice was getting going, so that they could get a chance to take a look at the cars in action. Unfortunately, however, the organisation has been forced to release a statement at midnight last night after News 24 broke an article about the key sponsors, ABB, and their plea bargain, which was actually settled a couple of months ago with the U.S. Department of Justice around bribery with Eskom's Kusile power station. But Formula E have said that they remain an independent organisation upholding the highest standards of business integrity and transparency. We expect the same of our global partners and sponsors. We cannot speak publicly on behalf of ABB regarding this matter. However, we have direct communication with senior executives at the company, as we do with all our partners. We're reassured by private and public statements made by ABB CEO Bjorn Rosengren concerning their cooperation with authorities and the extensive measures taken by ABB to prevent anything similar from happening again. Together with ABB, we're aligned in our mission to accelerate change towards an electric future, and are excited to showcase that sustainable future this weekend with the first Formula E race in South Africa. And that's something that's hugely significant for the city of Cape Town. This is the biggest sporting event since the World Cup back in 2010. There's over 250 million viewers that are going to be tuning in worldwide. And just by what I've heard from the drivers, from the team principals, they're so excited to be here. And many of the international journalists also saying that this is the most beautiful city. And we've got the fastest circuit to date. Wehlein?
Well, Vaylen Kirtley, thank you so much for that information, and we'll be looking forward to crossing again a little bit later to you. An exciting day in Cape Town in store as qualifying and the race is yet to take place.